Hey guys, I'm a Forester here with a short video comparing some Chinese to some Japanese pens over a range of price points. So I'm going to start with the Chinese pens first. And did you know that 2 out of every 3 Chinese pens will break down within 3 years of ownership? Well, did you also know that 79% of all statistics are made up on the spot? Well, I do have some basis for why I say 2 out of every 3, because this is my sample of Chinese pens. I don't think I have any others, but 2 of these pens have already broken, and I'll have to get them replaced if I want to continue using them. So let's go over those very quickly, and I'll make my point. So this is a Hero, and I'm not going to bother with the model numbers and all that, but it's made by Hero. It's a Chinese pen that is a knockoff of a Lamy Safari. And I've really enjoyed using this pen. So it has an extra fine nib that I really like writing with. So it was my first extra fine nib. But it broke at the cap up here. You can see that. And it leaks some. It dries out, the nib dries out because it's exposed to air, and so I can still use this, but I really need to get that cap replaced. Now this pen right here is made by Jinhao. I think it's the X159, and I'm going to have to be careful when I pick it up because the cap broken on this also, and there goes the pen. So let me pick it up and put it back together. So this has a fake cap, so the cap is in 2 pieces. It comes off like this, and this part right here broke and it's falling all apart. So this plastic part right here, let me make sure you can see that. You can see how jagged the edge is. That screws down through this to this metal cap right there. And one day I noticed that there was a lot of ink leaking out through this small cap up here. So I got to looking at it, and it had broken and was leaking ink out through that top. Now that's going to be a little more difficult to replace. I think I'll just contact Jinhao and see if I can't get a replacement cap for it. But that's 2 pens, both made of some type of acrylic plastic, that the caps have broken. Now this is my 3rd Chinese pen, and this one is still working fine. It comes at a higher price point, so this is a Moon Man. I think it's M1000 maybe. But I enjoy using this pen, and it still writes fine. It's a little finicky on what ink I put in it, but if I pair the right ink to it, it writes fine. So let's talk about price point just a little bit. This Hero was an El Cheapo pen that I bought when I was in China. I was on a quest for Chinese pens, and that was the only one I could find at the time. I think it cost, I have videos on all these pens, but I believe it cost around $5 if I'm not mistaken. Maybe even less than that. So this Jinhao I bought at a Raleigh-Durham Triangle Pen Show. I think I bought it maybe 9 months ago. I think it was at the last show. And it was, no, I'm sorry, it was the year before last that I had it. So I've had it for about 1.5 years. But it cost somewhere around $15, I believe. And I enjoyed using it. I didn't use it as much as I did this Hero, but I did enjoy using it. And I was disappointed to see that it had already broken. Now, so $5, maybe $15. This one, and just going on memory, I think it was somewhere around $50. It's a beautiful pen. I love the look of it, and the nib suits me just fine, except for being a little bit finicky on ink. So this was around $50, I believe. So those are the price points. But I just want to make the case that in hindsight, I would have foregone spending money, whether it's $5 or $15 or $20 on a Chinese pen that's not going to last. I think it's better to save money, save your pesos, and buy something a little higher quality. But now let me bring in the Japanese pens. So for instance, here's a Pilot Metropolitan. It's the same price as generally these two right here, the Hero or the Jinhao. So the Jinhao was 15, this Pilot Metropolitan is 15, and this has never given me one moment of frustration or difficulty. It's very dependable. It writes every time, and now it's not acrylic, it's got a metal body. So instead of getting either one of those, I would save up my pesos and get this Pilot Metropolitan. Now if you want something a little more expensive, here's a Japanese pen that you can't beat. And in fact, I want to do a video on the pen that I'm using right now. There's two. There's this one and one other one. But this is a Platinum 3776. I can always remember the model number of this pen because it's the height, I think in meters, of Mount Fuji. It's got a beautiful gold nib. And this is in medium. The other one is red-bodied, and I put red ink in it, and it's a fine. But this cost, and I'm not going to quote prices because I think I got very different prices on these. I ordered one straight from Japan and the other domestically, and they were very different in price. But you can get reasonable prices on these if you look around. So this would be somewhere about here in price point, and I would by far prefer this to any of the other pens. And then the pen that I got at the last Raleigh-Durham Triangle pen show was this one right here, and I have a video of it. I always wanted a Sailor. So this pen cost more, I think generally around $300, so it's going to be up here. But I guess my 2 cents on this issue is don't waste your money on these cheap Chinese knockoff pens. I know one person that I follow, probably a lot of you do if you're into pens, and he collects these type of pens in every color and every nib type. And you know, when one breaks, he exchanges parts from another one, and he gets a kick out of that. I would say save your pesos on here. Go for higher end pens. You'll get a lot more use out of them over their lifetime, your lifetime, because they'll last your lifetime. And I think it's just a better deal all the way around, and they'll give you more pleasure. That's my 2 cents. I prefer Japanese over Chinese any day. Y'all take care.